Ah, yes, and welcome to another Star Trek Adventures. Nice chilled out Star Trek Adventures stream. I thought I'd keep it sort of low key for the Star Trek Adventures one rather than going, high pitch. Hi, welcome to Time. So I was like, no, let's ease us in gently. Let's have this nice and smooth and lovely. Yes, welcome to our Star Trek Adventures stream. We've got a new campaign which I'm very excited about, which stars you indeed are going to be the role of Games Master for us yet again. So I believe you've been working on a little something, existing campaign, I believe.
Yeah, so I mostly work off of Modifius's pre-generous stuff. I'll probably branch out and do some of my own stuff, but I make sure to tailor it a little bit more towards you guys, so don't worry, you're not going to be suddenly referred to as Captains Picard and or Janeway and or Sisko.
Nice. Well, thank you, David, for subscribing. I don't know what's going on with my red alert thing. It's not working anymore, so no idea why.
You might have to change the bulb.
No, yeah, that's true. Sorry, sir.
Red alert?
Yes.
Oh,
sorry. Sorry.
Read alert, sir.
Oh, God.
Okay, this is like a brilliant opportunity to address who we're all going to be playing tonight, because we're not playing original characters. We will, in fact, be playing characters from the show Star Trek Enterprise. So, Shai, would you like to take us off by saying who you are playing?
Yes, my name is Shia Porn. I will be playing Lieutenant Malcolm Reed, sir. The most effective security officer in Starfleet.
Dude, you have used up your entire series allotment of smiles already, so you're gonna have to rein it in a little bit, you know.
Yes,
Stiff
sir.
British
Sorry,
opposite,
sir.
yes.
Sorry.
We will smile by proxy for you.
Okay.
More sharp list Downton Abbey.
Also, who are you featuring as this week?
I'm the lovable boomer, Travis Mayweather, who has no applicable talents or backstory in this entire session. So
Fantastic.
I'm here as the eye candy for the ladies, just like on Timeline Stalks.
I believe we're going to have a Spocky join us, but while he's figuring things out, Sky, please, who are you representing this week?
I will be playing Commander T'Pol.
Ooh. The Vulcanus elf. Spocky, welcome to the stream. You made it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, gosh, just about, yeah. Nightmare.
We're glad to have you.
Yeah, we're glad to have you. Who should you be playing? Oh, yeah.
I'll
Ah, yes, please. Who are you playing tonight?
A bullfighter?
Oh, yeah, tonight I'll be playing Commander Shan. Is it Commander?
Yes,
I think he's
yes.
actually Captain.
Captain Shran, Commander Shran? Sub-Commander Shran?
Big fans, all of us. Wow.
Yeah.
The blue skin,
The
lovable,
Andorian military isn't a real military.
full Andorian who loves
Petty Officer
everybody.
Shran.
Is non-conflicting at all.
He is a commander, according to Memory Alpha, who is
An
ruined.
enlisted man like him.
He was a commander, according to Memory Alpha.
And, oh, okay. And
I haven't finished Enterprise yet. I'm still on Series 4. I don't know what's happened to him.
oh, wait till Series 5, mate. That's where it peaks.
Can't wait.
And I should be playing Dr. Phlox, medical officer of the Enterprise. I nearly said the USS Enterprise, but it's not, is it? So
It's not even the SS, it's just
not,
the
no, it's-
NX-01 Enterprise.
the next one, just Enterprise. Just Enterprise, because they don't say it as the Enterprise, so they just call it Enterprise, not like the Voyager or the Enterprise, just Enterprise.
Well, also, no one says the Defiant.
Why is it?
They say the Defiant.
Did they not say the Defiant?
I feel like they maybe mixed it between
They
the
say the
two.
Defiant.
Yeah, they mix it.
Voyager.
Yeah, it's like usually you get either the Enterprise or go out to Voyager or the. And they mix it up and they're not consistent with it.
Is there going to be a test on this at the end of the stream?
If there were a test, I think we've all established from our ignorance of Strand's rank that we'd all fail it.
Fantastic.
I said Commander to start with, but then I doubted myself. Second guessed it.
See, that was your fault. All of us are fake fans. Your fault was doubting yourself. Never doubt yourself.
I think they call it Voyager, but they call it the Delta Flyer. I think there's something
Yeah.
about like having the primary vessel and then the shuttle.
Yeah.
And so I think it would be the Defiant.
Okay.
The Defiant.
Why do you think we're here? Look at my wonderful L cards.
Yeah, no, it's true. Yeah, it's true.
Before we get started, for anyone that hasn't played Star Trek Adventures and doesn't know the system, have a quick read up. There's like, I think there's a free rules guide on Modiphius's website. You can have a brief look through. We will be rolling dice for skill checks and role playing and having lots of fun on our own little role play adventure. But it's a good deal of fun. And Stars, do you want to take us away? What are we doing in our wonderful world of the Pre-Federation?
Okay, so a little bit of context for you guys. This is going to be a bit more of a social sort of like campaign for you guys, something a bit more roleplay. This is actually going to be a murder investigation, so I think you guys are going to have some fun.
Is Mayweather getting
now-
murdered?
Again? I
I
don't know
just
how to
lie
really
down
fit
on
that
the
in.
floor right now.
Now, who has a good Captain Archer voice? Does
Probably
anyone?
Shy. I know
Indistinguishable screeching.
Can you throw your brow and look angry?
Look confused and talk about water polo.
And scream a lot? Just yell at people a lot?
No, okay, I'll read it off.
Knock
I'm not
you
going
on
to do
your
the accent.
Vulcan ass. That's the only line.
No,
I
you
know.
have to do the accent.
No, I don't. I'm the GM. I'm going to be doing enough voice work as it is. All right. All right. Channel the dick. Channel. Okay. Captain Starlog, April 2155. We have been ordered to assist a Vulcan Science Director observation team on the planet Kalmar, an industrializing world whose humanoid inhabitants are in the early stages of research that could lead to warp drive. One member of the observation team is missing and presumed dead after a fatal accident in the research facility. Our mission is to investigate the accident and to aid in recovering any identifiable human remains. I have no doubt that Shran, still aboard after last week's negotiations with the Tellarites, will complain that we'll be keeping him from getting home, but we're the only ship in the sector, and a situation like this demands a quick response. While Starfleet has no hard and fast rules about contact with species that have yet to achieve warp drive, I have, in this instance, decided to follow Commander DePaul's recommendations about limiting our potential disruption to the culture's natural development. She assures me that this is a particularly sensitive concern when a society is this close to expanding into space on its own, and for once, I have to agree. A mishandled, unplanned first contact could frighten them away from space travel or make them wary towards aliens once they emerge. Science Directorate pre-contact teams understand the stakes better than anyone, which is what makes the presence of an observer at the site of a fatal accident so troubling. Was it merely a coincidence or something more? That will be for our away team to ascertain. And I'm pretty sure we can just start off in... Do we have a conference room in Enterprise? We don't really do we? It's on the bridge, I guess.
They use the mess, yeah.
The mess hall they use.
Okay, we'll use the mess hall for this. And
And the decon chamber, but
We don't have Trip here, do we? Who's Trip? No one's Trip.
No, Trip. Yeah. Is Trip on Columbia at this point? Is this? I take it after the Tellarites. This is season 4.
this would technically be like the beginning of season 5, 2155.
Okay, so Trip's
This is
back.
after season 4 is so Trip's back.
Watch the bit with the Tellarites and the Romulans and all that stuff going on. Literally just watched it about 2 weeks ago.
Oh, good. It's firmly in your brain then.
Fresh in my memory.
So you're in the mess, and Captain Archer is just giving you a briefing. And of course, he's going to place command in, his trusted first officer, Commander DePaul. All of you will be taking your leave from her. That includes you, Shran.
Not sure I feel happy taking any orders from the pointed-eared Vulcan bastards.
That position is illogical.
I should be in command here. I have the most experience with these kinds of
You've
conflicts.
received your instructions.
Shran, DePaul, if we could be civil. And Shran, if we could please avoid another diplomatic incident. The Tellarite ambassador is still very, very upset with me.
Fine, but only this once, Captain, and only because I respect you.
Thank you, Shran. I appreciate that. All right. Any questions before we send you guys down in Shuttle Pod 1?
I don't like fighting with Spocky. I'm just saying.
He's too polite and huggable and lovable, isn't he?
Man,
I like the Spock and Chapel dynamic better, I think.
I did too.
Did
Aww.
Oh, I couldn't handle tripping to Paul. That's not. That's too much.
Yeah.
That's too steamy. Yeah.
Sky, maybe you should play Archer. Your favorite captain of all time.
Oh,
Oh, there'll be some sparks flying
I don't
then.
think I can do the
Sky Cap
plus-
is disconnected from chat.
So many questions or?
Did I hear something about a shuttle pod?
Travis, nothing spitting nothing fancy. You're just getting them down to the surface and avoiding contact with anybody. No fancy tricks, no nothing.
I can fly Colvard Starburst with a 40-year-old shuttle pod.
I think Mayweather invented the Colvard Starburst, didn't he?
No, it's too exciting for him to have done.
Oh, okay.
Okay, you played Mayweather then. Sorry, I missed your intro at the beginning.
That's okay. So did the writers.
And throughout.
Yeah, for context, Otto is playing Travis.
Yeah.
Idle is playing Phlox.
I know.
You've got Reed up there with Shireporn seems to have disappeared. There's just this Malcolm Reed guy. And then Skycat is
Uncanny.
playing Paul.
I'm waiting for the British accent.
Oh, it's good.
Oh, you missed it.
Because, as you know, Reed's northern like me, so he also sounds a lot like I do.
You know, it's like an audio mirror, sir. Sir. Going a spot of pineapple juice.
That's Yorkshire right there. That's definitely Yorkshire accent.
Oh,
Definitely.
Lieutenant, I do believe you've had your bromelain injection.
Yes, I have, sir.
Ah, excellent. I shall
This
get the
actually is gonna
eels.
kill me. It's gonna kill me. All right. So without any other pressing business, so Kalmar, obviously they're humanoid, but they are not human. So before you guys head down, you guys are gonna have to apply prosthetic disguises so you can pass as natives.
This sounds like something in my
You're gonna have
wheelhouse.
Yeah, you're gonna have to like fold them down. Yeah, like a ball cap.
What are the distinguishing characteristics?
Wait for a second.
Just retract them. It's fine.
Retract them fully into the head like it's cold water. Just dunk the head into the cold water.
Now I'm just thinking about all the times they talk about erect antennae in Star Trek novels, and now I'm very worried.
Oh dear.
So Kalmuri have skin tones ranging from dark bronze to light gold, and their scalps, foreheads, necks, and the back of their hands and arms are covered in thick fur, ranging from dark brown to pale gold. They have slightly protruding muzzles, and their ears are moderately large and somewhat fox-like. They also have night vision and somewhat greater strength than humans. Their civilization is roughly parallel to Earth in the 2030s.
Flox is going to
The 2030s will be. Is.
Yeah.
Mm.
Flox is going to turn to Captain Archer and go, Captain, I can't do the accent now. You know, I practiced it all day, and I was going, oh yes, Captain, I'm going to be Flox and all this. And I say, Captain, I'm afraid I'm going to have to shave your dog for the hair required. We need a source of hair to sample, but I cannot find any right now. All my eels
You know,
have
you've just made.
all my eels, I'm afraid, have departed. They have shed already. It's not the season.
You just made me realize that Phlox is just doing an American Liverpool accent. Phlox is just basically American John Lennon.
Imagine all the people.
I wonder if you can. All right.
Have we
We're
had-
barely holding it together here.
So, remind me, we've not had any previous contact with these people, have we? Or are we just going in blind?
What do you mean, you
Starfleet-
people? They're called the Kalmuri, all right? And they look like
Sorry.
gold dogs. Get it together, man.
All right. So Starfleet and all of your affiliated powers have not had any official contact with the Kalmuri. The only contact that you have had is through this monitoring station, which is officially being run by the Vulcan Science Directorate. They have an exchanged human scientist by the name of Dr. Ricardo Lee, and that is essentially why a Starfleet ship has been sent rather than a Vulcan one. At this time.
Gotcha. So do we have any information about their biology? Purely
but
professional.
for the Kalmuri,
Yes.
essentially all the stuff that I kind of gave you there. Mostly just like humanoid, fox-like, as you say, slightly running probably a slightly higher temperature, very night vision, probably a better sense of smell as well. I would probably say as well.
Yeah.
They're very loyal. They like playing fetch.
I mean, I wouldn't say no. I like playing fetch, to be fair. Then again, I have, yeah, no, I'm just gonna stop that right there.
Let's
All
move on.
And moving swiftly on.
It is Twitch.
The away team arrives in the Vulcan Science Directorate Observers Base, which is a thoroughly shielded monitoring station hidden in the hills on the outskirts of the Kalmuri city called Aphios. This is the capital of the nation-state of the same name. Aphios is a pretty beautiful city by sort of like human standards. A mixture of more modern building materials and styles, most akin to neo-brutalism on Earth, with notably older, more classical buildings dotted among them that appear to be from Kalmuri's past. It's clear that the city planners were very careful to preserve the character of the city as they built around it. The sky is like a crisp, burnt umber, as if the city is forever coming to the end of the day. And the air strongs really strongly of melted sugar due to a large number of confectionery factories that are dotted all around it. So you guys sit down in the hills, as quietly and covertly as possible, and you head into the Vulcan Science Directorate base. And you are met by their team lead, who is a Vulcan female named Dr. Tagur. She is a middle-aged Vulcan with a high hairline and arched eyebrows, as most Vulcans tend to. Her hair is a dark black, fringed with grey, and the rest of her team includes a pair of male human civilian scientists named Andreas Castulas and Benson Craig, and another Vulcan scientist by the name of Tazine. That's a lot of names I just
That
threw
is,
at
yeah.
I remember Tagura.
I remember Andreas Cassoulis.
Yes. Well, no, that's... Yeah, that's
So what you said?
the actor who plays Tomalok.
That's exactly what I said, yeah.
It's the one-armed man in The Fugitive.
That's the car. No,
You're leaning on the fourth wall, it's fine.
Sorry.
So,
Oh, hold on.
yeah,
As long as we're breaking fourth wall, Chat has a good point. The lead ambassador for this mission really should be Porthos. But I digress.
They'd probably all just be like, oh, look at that small child. Why isn't he talking? What have you done to your child to make him so mute? Why isn't he quiet? Why does he lick himself so in public?
Travis, stop that.
Alright, so if you want me to run through the team again. So the team lead, Dr. Tagur, Vulcan. She's Vulcan Science Directorate. You've got two male human civilian scientists, Andreas and Benson. And another Vulcan Science Directorate.
Please
scientist
tell me
named-
that Benson's surname is Hedges.
No, it's not. It's Craig. And another Vulcan scientist by the name of Tazine. That's T apostrophe ZHEEN. And then you've got your missing man, Dr. Ricardo Lee, who is a Starfleet scientist who is on exchange. Not unlike Dr. Lux.
Cool.
All right. And all of them, except Tagur, are currently disguised as Kalmuri because they will occasionally pop out into the city to do their observational anthropological work. And it is worth noting that Tazine, not Tagur, is the one who called you in to investigate the death of the science team member over the objections of the team lead, Tagur. So,
Okay.
they welcome you in, and they're not quite friendly. They're not going to be offering you any pots of Tarkalian tea or anything like that. But they're sort of like very stiff, very formal, a little bit shaken up because they have lost one of their number, and their entire mission here is essentially at stake. So a little bit rattled, but they're eager to get this sorted and try and find out what happened. So, what would you like to do?
I defer to our illustrious commander, but if anything, I would like to investigate the missing person's quarters to find out if there's anything in there that might help us to diagnose his medical condition at the time. What do you think, Captain?
Sorry.
Are you okay there,
you are in
Commander?
command, Paul.
Have we already spoken to Gur?
No,
No,
you've essentially
what
just been
is-
welcomed into the
Okay.
base. Yeah.
I think that while we're all gathered around, we should find out a little more information about where he went, what he was doing, what the nature of the accident was, as far as she could tell.
Okay.
We need to know his movements. That will be
Okay.
key for ascertaining where he is.
Yes, Dr. Tagur, ma'am.
I'm not sure, but it's close enough.
So who would you like to ask? Because you're going to get different answers depending on who you talk to here.
Okay.
Oh.
So the
We should speak to each one individually, correct?
Hang on, are all of us in disguises now, or are we not disguised yet?
You are all disguised as Cal Murray, yes.
And how about the people we are with? Are they all disguised as well?
yeah,
All of them apart from Tagur. Yeah, there you go. You got your. Don't forget to scratch yourself every now and then to help the authenticity. Tagur is not disguised because she does not believe in immersion anthropology. She does not believe in going out to observe.
So I can't immediately tell who's a stinky Vulcan and who's a nice pliable human.
So we're in a duck blind of sorts at the moment, yes?
Yes,
Okay,
but before holographic technology made that more.
okay.
You know, this could essentially still be stumbled across because you've got it's very sort of like 2 or 3 levels below, but obviously they have to get in and out, so someone could potentially stumble across them. But you know, they do their best to keep on the down low.
I'd like to chat to Tagur and say what was, very, very concerned about my missing colleague. Obviously, we were served together at the exchange program, and I'm going to just drop the accent. And
No!
Great.
It's all I'm living for.
Okay,
right now.
sorry. I'm just starting to go oi, oi, and get more like Dr. Frink as it goes.
Lieutenant Kermit the Frog here to investigate.
Is that Mayweather? Is that his impression of a Camry?
Just
No,
trying to get the scientist on his side by doing Kermit the Frog impressions.
no, I would.
Oh yeah, Vulcans love comedy bits. I'll keep going.
No, I would like to talk to Tagur and inquire. Obviously, I'm very distraught and talking about my colleague. Where was he last seen? I'm sort of curious about his studies on this planet and part of his exchange program with the Vulcans. Obviously, his work here was very important to you.
So she sort of like looks down her nose at you a little bit because she's a Vulcan science director of the old sort of school, because obviously this is like just after the whole Cyrenite thing, so cultural change is slowly filtering in, but people are still being very stuffy, and then you are, even though you yourself are a civilian Dr. Flux, you are regarded as Starfleet by association. So she's looking down the nose at you a little bit.
And by WRG.
And she basically says, well, it wasn't my idea to send him in. I'm not of the school of thought that immersion anthropology is strictly necessary for this sort of mission. We can observe perfectly fine from this distance and ascertain all the necessary information, but Lee and some of the others have broken with that approach. 1 day ago, we were observing the Afios Research Institute's test of an experimental artificial gravity generator. As you Starfleet officers will well know, gravitational field is an elementary space-time warp, a simple form of the same physics that underlie warp drives, wormholes, and most other forms of faster-than-light propulsion, as well as deflectors, tractor beams, and some types of cloak. Artificial gravity generation is thus the first practical step toward interstellar travel. So our team considered this observation of their moment to be highly important, and naturally, I was of the opinion that we should not interfere. Lee, being a human, thought differently. Both he and my
Humans
colleague
often
Tazine
do.
used forged. You understand? You understand what they're like. It's horrible living with them. They
having
smell
lived with them
so
for
terribly.
4 years now, I find them quite fascinating. However, yes, no, I do understand that they can be quite ubiquitous at times.
You understand. Good. You're a man of science. You understand. But anyway, Dr. Lee and my colleague Tazine used forged identities, Rikeli and Tizen, very imaginative, I know, visiting researchers from a university in a small overseas country named Pytulis to gain access to the gravity experiment as scientific observers. Lee, who was our team's engineer, was in the test chamber when the fatal accident occurred, killing him along with the generator's inventor and his assistant. As of yet, details are unclear, but apparently, the gravity generator ran out of control and produced an intense enough field to crush everyone in the room.
Are you still in possession of the body?
Frankly, Dr. Zox, there wasn't much of a body to retain.
Anything will do. If we can get a genetic profile off the corpse, then it might help ascertain how he specifically died, or if there was any malnutrition or any kind of subversion in his death, then maybe we ought to investigate it.
If I
As far as
may,
I understand,
if I may, the captain's log said that he was missing and presumed dead. Do you have information that contradicts our captain?
I mean, it wouldn't be hard.
frankly, Commander. Frankly, Commander, missing presumed dead is a kind way of saying that there isn't enough of him left to officially identify.
Yikes. Okay, so we're sure that he got blowed up in there.
Have you confirmed
what I
the corpse's
understand-
identity with a genetic scan?
The blood samples match,
Okay.
essentially. He was present and,
Okay.
well, suffice it to say, it was hard enough to identify the other bodies, let alone Lee.
I'm afraid I don't want to doubt your opinion, but I would like to check those findings if we could.
Well, you'll have some luck doing so. From my understanding, the ball of material is being held at a secure location at the moment.
Just, Not run by you?
Frankly, given how... what would the word be? Given how surface level our forged identities were, we thought it best not to try and push too hard to get the body back. They seem very, very concerned about this experiment and what's gone wrong. From what I understand, the government's been funding this quite extensively, and they're very keen to understand what went wrong, and us, not being of the world,
Were you not
don't wish to stick our oar in.
Were you not concerned by the fact that they might discover his real identity? Bearing in mind that he is not native to this planet.
Concerned, yes, but, well, there were multiple other factors playing into my indifference, as you might say. For one, there's so little of him, from what I understand, to identify that even if they were able to pull apart that he was an alien, they wouldn't be able to do much with the material. And what's more, it's entirely possible that any alien material would have been written off as some kind of gravitic warping by the sheer intensity of the field.
Nevertheless, this incident demonstrates the importance of non-interference.
I quite agree, but Lee and my colleague Tazine wouldn't hear the end of it.
You know, if you had been in charge of the expedition to Earth a century ago, Vulcans and humans never would have met. Man,
She looks down her nose at you and says, "Yes, and the galaxy would have been much far better off, wouldn't it?"
Madam, I do digress. I do not think it is agreeable. Do not think it is needed for us to trade slurs. Maybe we could try and negotiate and find the body. I'm very keen to, to analyze and see what's going on there. Maybe we could talk to the current holders and at least try and negotiate getting to our colleague.
Your best bet would be to attend the research institute itself, where the incident happened. From what I understand, some of the material is still there while the rest of it has been transported. If you're going to get any progress, it'll be through someone there, some official or police or whatever.
As always, I am in your debt.
You are.
Oh, bitch.
Go there now.
Flock says that underhand. He's like, "Fucking no."
I don't like blocks. Unlike your accent,
Right.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I am. I'm Shies. I think Shies doing really well.
Shy's amazing.
No. Phlox. Dr. Phlox.
I believe we need to go there. We need to go there. We need to go there now. The longer we
Do
wait,
any of your...
more chance things happening. Who's with me? I've got my rifle.
As,
I'm gonna
Yeah, just-
start shooting up.
As
Do
we-
we have invitations to this seminar, to this symposium? Can
Tazine will step in here and sort of like very artfully stepping by her colleague. I have arranged for forged identities for both myself and for all of you if you should wish to attend. Please, we do ask that you maintain a strict cultural stasis. We are trying to limit our contamination as much as possible, and while this incident may be an unfortunate blemish, we hope to leave the society much the same way we found it.
The only blemish
Oh,
still on phase of fire.
I think this will be rather fascinating. I think this will be a wonderful cultural exchange.
one more question. Do all of you concur with Dr. Tegear's assessment of what happened? As I carefully observe all of them to see if they...
Well, I cannot speak for the others. Tegear is not unwise in her ideas of keeping a strict cultural stasis, but in my view, it was a necessary calculated risk. Recording such a historic moment passively would not have adequately captured it. Someone needed to experience it firsthand to know what it was like to be one of the first people involved and to question the other participants directly about their experience. The Vulcan Science Directorate, and for that matter Starfleet, can learn nothing here about physics and engineering that is not known for generations. Our contribution to history lies in capturing the experience itself, its meaning for the individuals involved. We take this technology so much for granted in our everyday lives. How else can we experience what it feels like to discover it for the first time?
So did you record this moment?
Well, from what I understand, yes, but you wouldn't want to watch the footage.
Oh, no.
Rock split.
I'd love to watch the...
That's quite fascinating. See the gravitational effects on a a carbon-based life form. Amazing. I believe my third wife, or back on Denobula, was quite the expert on that kind of thing. She'd find the whole process absolutely fascinating. But I digress.
Tazine just sort of like arches an eyebrow and says, "Fascinating." Any more questions you've got for the rest of the team, or would you like to skedaddle on home?
Are the humans just not offering any opinions on...
You get the distinct impression that they're trying to stay out of this little conflict that is going on between Tegear and Tazine, because they essentially have no stake in this. They keep the outpost running. They passively record anthropological data. They're not really interested in philosophical debate. If you want, you can ask them a few questions, but they seem a little bit reticent.
Well, I mainly was wanting confirmation on whether they confirmed what happened to Dr. Lee.
Oh yeah, they can. They will absolutely confirm, because essentially they were all watching through a transporter imaging scanner, which you essentially have on hand in case you need to do a sudden yank out. You're in trouble. And they can verify through that yes, what happened. Especially obviously there was a good degree of interference.
And I didn't catch. Our guy died. The inventor of the generator died, and how many other people died?
His assistant, so that's
Okay.
3.
Thank you.
And I haven't given you names to them yet. You'll be finding that out in the next scene. So do you guys have any more questions you want to do? Any more investigation?
as we
Do we need
break
to look
huddle,
around?
As we break huddle, I will discreetly circle around to Commander T'Pol. Commander, these Kelmarian disguises are a little bit potent. Do you have any of that nasal numbing agent with you?
Of course.
You mind if I get a hit? Thank you.
Flox comes
Oh,
over
you
to you
can-
and just hands
you
you an
can
eel,
keep it
hands you an
now.
eel and says, "Oh, just pop this near your nose. The odor of the osmotic eel is often quite pungent and will help alleviate any
Thank you,
stress."
Doctor. I appreciate it.
I have now become a Cthulhu monster. Thank you.
I've just got pockets full of eels. Quick intercept. I haven't set our momentum or threat. What are we at? Are we at?
You'll be at 3 out of 6 momentum, and I get 2 points of threat for everyone involved,
Okay, so
so,
that's-
I get 10.
10 threat. Shit. Okay. Right. Sorry.
Could you
housekeeping.
briefly describe the research station or observation post or whatever this is? Is there anything
Okay,
interesting?
So it's a very standard observation post. Like, these sort of things are essentially plopped down in a box and then unfolded around them, sort of like flat packs,
Okay.
essentially. And they don't tend to vary very much. Like, there'll be obviously variances between, say, like a Starfleet issue 1 and a Vulcan Science Directorate 1, but they'll all have the same modular outlook. You've got your living quarters, you've got your data banks, you've got your observation lounge, which is essentially which is here, where you can look out on the city, but like still like essentially one-way mirror. Quite a lot of like news feeds displaying all various different like channels, so they can observe cultural, up-to-date news, that kind of thing, and just generate a kind of cultural profile. It's a very Spartan place. Like, it's the kind of place you only really work for any long period of time if you're really invested in your work. It's very boring. So you best love anthropology.
I have one. Dr. Flox has a question for the team. One last question for everyone. It's like, were any of you directly in line, directly interacting with the equipment before it failed? Were any anomalous radiation coming off it that might have affected yourselves that we could trace? We just would like to scan you, perhaps, and just find out if there's anything amiss, just to make sure, for the health of the colony, of course, make sure no one's here. Starfleet would be very interested to know that all of you are quite safe, as well the Vulcan Science Academy would.
Yeah, they don't have any objections to that. They think it's a relatively pointless endeavor, just because, like, as far as their official line is, none of them were there. They have nothing involvement, and this is just a horrible accident. So if you want to give them a quick scan,
I wouldn't mind, yeah.
Let's do
roll
our
some
first
dice.
roll of the evening. Yeah, no, we're like in a half an hour in, and this is our first dice roll.
Oh yes, the Star Trek Adventure stream. There it is.
Oh yeah, it is there. It's not just a storytelling thing. Okay. Let's see. Give me a science and insight difficulty 2.
Okay, I've got 14 on that, so I won't take a momentum here. I'll risk it. We'll see what we get. So I've got a 15 and a 17, so that's blanks for me.
No, that's no help, unfortunately. Your scans come up inconclusive. Everyone seems like in decent physiological health, maybe a little bit malnourished. Just because they probably, like most invested scientists, they're not eating properly. But no alarming signs of radiation, no signs of any kind of gravitational traces that would point to one of them having been at the scene of the murder.
Okay.
Well, I say murder, accident.
Interesting.
I misspoke, don't worry about it.
Lieutenant Reed,
Yes, ma'am.
while I pull Dr. Taggur aside, would you work with Dr. Tazine or just Tazine? Would you work with the
Tazine,
other Vulcan person to copy any data that they have on the incident, including
ma'am.
the movie that they took?
Certainly. I was going to ask, is there any information in the recording that they took? Is it just a simple videotape? Is it full sensor readings?
So they can actually call up that video for you if you want to watch it.
Yes, yes.
Ooh, please.
And it's
Who loves their movie night?
Flox pulls out some popcorn from nowhere.
and unfortunately, it's not particularly helpful. So it starts off with the 3 people in the room, and they're sort of like observing this gravitational generator. They fire it up. A field is beginning to generate. and obviously because of the gravitational field's intensity, it does start to interfere with the camera feed. And it starts to build and build and build. And in the course of one fluctuation, suddenly one of them is crushed up against the console. The other two are like slammed up against the generator itself. And then thankfully it cuts, and then the next time the video feed resumes, someone is running in and sort of like staring aghast at all the viscera.
Is there any sort of time code or confirmation that the video has not been tampered with, or the recording has not been tampered?
I'm going to go ahead and say that that's the only the camera feed you can verify at the university itself. If you want to verify these records as legitimate, and maybe even try and see if you can scrub it for more information. Okay. I'm going to say this is going to be an engineering roll. So let's go for engineering plus reason difficulty 3.
All right. So I'd have to spend a point of momentum to
Do it.
add a die, correct?
You would indeed.
Can anyone assist me with this, or am I doing
Yeah,
this
If
quietly?
anyone's got an applicable stat, they can absolutely assist to try and help you scrub the data.
I'm trying to find the PDF. Do we have it?
Oh, it's fucky. It's in the Discord server. It should be linked as a Google Drive document.
Yeah. Which one?
I got you, Spocky.
Just link me to it. I was just been hunting it. Can't find it.
So it's engineering plus reason, you said, or?
Difficulty 3, yes.
All right, engineering plus reason, difficulty 3. So I'll spend a point of momentum. Perhaps someone can assist me.
This sounds like a job for Travis Mayweather.
And
Yeah, definitely.
Travis,
Big engineering
why
guy.
don't you give me a hand over here?
Come on, Travis, my best friend.
I rolled a success, so
Okay.
Oh, I have 3 successes.
Hey.
Whoa,
What
excellent.
difficulty was it again?
3, so you actually get that point of momentum back. Well done.
1.
Beautiful.
Okay. So you're able to verify that what they were watching was a legitimate feed. And you also managed to clear up just a little bit of data. Which is, as they are being crushed against the thing, you can see one of them try and reach for a switch, possibly a failsafe, possibly a power switch, but fail to, unfortunately. So they had enough time to essentially try and save themselves, but by that point the gravitational field was so strong that like they were reaching, but it wasn't gonna go anywhere. This was essentially the moment that field like started to build, they were dead. There was nothing you could really do, and they probably knew that. So that's probably about as much as you're going to get from the observation post. Would you guys like to go ahead along to the research institute?
Amanda?
Okay.
You are
Yeah, no,
of course, the
go on,
ranking
to all as
officer
in
here,
one of the
Commander.
team.
Let's fly.
Travis?
Come on, Derek.
oh,
This is why you'll never make Lieutenant, Travis.
And do we have like a dune buggy that he could drive us over in?
I thought DePaul was using slang. Let's fly, like let's go. You know, I'm like, well, it's not very DePaul, but all right, let's fly, bro.
Yeah, you'll have a let's say not quite criminally procured civilian vessel to get you along. It's fine.
It's extra legally procured.
They will return it when they are done with it. That the research team have procured for their use, so you'll be using that to get around. And it's a good old-fashioned ground vehicle with wheels and everything.
All right.
How quaint.
In fact, you know what? Do you want to roll for me, Travis, to see how well you can drive?
Call it a tour bus. We're gonna have to fit 5 of
A
us. plus the
VW
scientist.
They drive
bus.
on the left
How about
or
that?
right?
Yeah.
They drive on the left.
Oh no.
So Travis, let's see how well you can drive on a scale of Captain Archer to Captain Kirk. Give me a con plus control difficulty 2.
All right. Well, I have like 18 talents all related to con, so let me read through these real quick.
And you know what? I'll also allow your focus in evasive action or helm operations.
I have
to-
extra vehicular activity, so
That's more for gravity, 0G work.
You are currently in the
Small
vehicle,
craft.
not extra vehicle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
A
I'm
car is
unless-
a
inside the
small
vehicle.
craft.
Unless you're planning to get some string and sit on top of the car and sort of drive it like that, then you'd be Evie.
Mr. Bean.
Yeah.
All right. What's the difficulty?
Difficulty 2.
All right. I rolled a 20 and a success.
We're gonna die.
Okay, so what I'm gonna say is you guys all like you file into the little bus, little tour bus, and you work out enough to get it started, and you're like, okay, yeah, I can work this, and then you promptly reverse it and slam through the wall.
And does the fender do its job, or is this bad boy totaled?
The fender does its job, but there's a very loud clank as it falls off of the bus, and it is now left on the little garage floor. So,
So the license plate is like imprinted in the wall, and if they want to find us now, they can track us.
let's just say that you are now known to them.
Okay.
You know what? I'll say that after that embarrassing moment that you managed to work your way around a stick shift, and you guys head along to the gravity lab, which is scene 2. Mm-hmm. So our team makes their way to the heart of the city, coming to a stark, ultra-modern building made of bright white titanium, which is notably newer than those surrounding it. Let's see. You're going to be shown around the accident site by your the Research Institute's director, who meets you out by the curb. Essentially, Tazine called ahead to let him know that you guys are going to be, looking into the deaths of your beloved comrades in science.
What is his
And
name?
he's so he is a sort of a very lean, edgy sort of, not quite skittish, but very. Maybe like, what would be the word? I guess edgy is the best way to describe him. Just like a bit on edge, a little bit high energy, a little bit scattered maybe. And he's just short of middle age, and his name is Khan Maclet.
God. What? Sorry.
God. And he sort of like looks around at the group of 5 Calmir, and he's like, hello, 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 and he's just very, very quickly shakes all of your hands. He seems very eager to get this over and done with. Because this is his shiny new lab, and there has been a very unfortunate body-crushing incident inside it.
Hate when that happens.
Happens more often than you think.
We parked around back, right, to avoid suspicion.
Yeah, you could park around back in some,
Can you roll to
so no
park?
one notices you're hanging.
Is there a garage that we can put this bad boy in?
You're going to be parked on the curb.
No.
There's no parking anywhere in the city. Never.
That's
No parking.
I tell you what, I'll drop you 4 off. I'll circle around. Give me a call on the comm when you want me to pick you up.
I'll just sit in here with the windows down, listen to my music. Listen to some Kamuri drum and bass. So
Listening to
Maclet is
Who
going to
Let the
lead you
Dogs
through. Maclet is going to lead you through university, which is a pretty bustling place. This is sort of this is essentially their scientific forefront, probably at least in this nation state, if not maybe the world. It's all very clean, all very new. This clearly had a lot of money sunk into it. And he leads you through sort of like the opening reception. You notice he's a little bit brusque with his employees. He's not a people person. He's not a beloved boss. And he leads you into the monitor room, which would have been essentially looking down into the experimental lab. And through these large observation windows, you can see the lab, which is a large octagonal chamber whose floor is about half a story below, so it was sort of like recessed into the floor. And these probably 2 or 3 inch thick windows and their support frames are warped, as if some intense force had pulled them toward the center of the lab.
Can I scan for any organic residue on these?
You may indeed.
On the building.
Yes, well, I'm gonna have to. I'm not gonna make you roll for the science roll, but I will make you roll to do it surreptitiously.
Okay. No, I think Phlox would probably wait till he's inside. Maybe, because I think there's not. It all happened inside, didn't he? So there's no point doing it until we're in there. There's not
the
gonna be anything on the
observation
outside. Yeah. No, I won't do it
Okay.
slyly. I'll wait till we're inside, and then I'll sneaky scan.
Okay. And in the center of the lab is a large pile of equipment piled up, sort of most of it seemingly crushed inward or half melted. Underneath it can be glimpsed the crushed remains of a large device in the shape of a thick torus, parallel to the floor.
Taurus, as in the bull.
Like a donut.
No, it's
Oh,
the
right.
Ford vehicle.
No,
Yes.
no, like the Ford car from the 90s.
Yes.
Robocop star.
In America
Mr.
only.
Nice, so
Mr.
you know your
Macbeth, can I
20th.
hope that this is some kind of modern art sculpture?
I'm afraid you'd be hoping in vain. That's
I'm afraid not, Lieutenant. Ensign,
mean-
sorry, I just promoted you.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry?
suck it, Harry. I'm a lieutenant.
Sorry, Sharon?
Is there splatters of blood on it?
Yes, there is quite a lot of dried blood here and there, and it's scattered, which indicates that pieces are not all intact.
What color is the blood? Or can we identify the blood?
It's all sort of like dried, sort of like brown, goldish, depending on. It wouldn't arouse suspicion to have the human blood in amongst the Kalmuri. They bleed the same color as you
Okay.
do, maybe a little bit, a few shades lighter.
Now, what shade does Shan bleed?
Blue.
Blue, I believe.
Mm,
And
Covered in
Vulcan
violet.
greens. So
Yes,
we
I'm
can
green.
rule those two out.
What
You're
the
bad.
Noblians red?
I don't know. Has Phlox ever bled? Do you bleed?
You will.
You will. I was going to say that.
I'm going to
Please,
do
we can kill him.
the strangest Google I've done tonight, which is denobular blood colour.
I imagine it's probably red.
Oh, it's red, apparently. Google just came up.
Okay.
Yeah, it autofills. A lot of
Fantastic.
people are wondering that.
Yeah. All right.
Fantastic.
So there's quite a bit of blood in amongst there, but it's thankfully all the really gory and like disgusting stuff is obscured by the metallic wreckage.
Okay. So are we able to access that, or is that we're just looking at behind the screen?
Well, Maclet is sort of like showing you essentially the thing, and he's sort of expecting you to probably be a bit more stunned and horrified than you actually are, because you guys are Starfleet officers. You've seen friends and comrades
Yeah.
killed in various horrifying ways. As Bones McCoy would remind us, space is a horrifying place.
Phlox has got
and he's
just
sort of like looking at you
yeah.
like,
No, Phlox has got a big grin on his face. He's just like, wow, fascinating.
This is a slow Tuesday. For the
yeah.
doctor.
So, yeah. So am I in a position? Sorry. Am I able to scan at this point? Am I within surreptitious scanning point? Is what I'm asking. I'm angling. I'd like to confirm. Personally, would like to confirm that these are our crew members and colleagues.
I would say that you're within range,
Yeah.
but again, because Maclet is here, you're gonna have to be surreptitious about
I
it.
will like to be
Um,
sneaky.
In fact,
Can I
okay.
roll something to try to distract?
I was
I
going to
was
suggest
just going to
that.
say if you want to do that.
Do your
What
fan
I'll
dance,
make
Ensign.
that then. So God.
I'll just take my shirt off and make my pecs jump.
It's like, you're remarkably less furry than everyone else. I'm
That's a
into it.
true Anthony Montgomery. Oh yeah, I forgot we're dogs. I will chase my tail as Dr. Khan watches. Mr. Khan? Dr. Khan?
Director Khan Macklin.
Director Khan.
Yeah. Okay, so Phlox is probably going to be doing the primary role here.
Okay.
So I'm going to need you to give me a security plus daring difficulty 2, and Travis can assist with an appropriate role of his choice, depending on what kind of distraction he wishes to go for.
Well, we're doing a physique distraction, so it's going to be fitness and security, I guess.
Yeah.
I wonder if those are your highest stats.
I'm going to take a
No,
momentum
actually.
here if that's okay, because what's it, daring security, you said?
Yes,
It's only
so-
11, so I wouldn't mind having a third dice for this, so... I'm going to go for... What difficulty did you say? 2. Okay, that's fine, We can do this. We can do something here. Ooh! Okay, I've got 2 successes. A 2 and a 3.
Okay.
And I failed my roll.
All right, so you pop your shirt open, and it's clear that Mackler isn't going for it, but he's appreciative of what you've got going on. He's like, "You work out, man. That's great for you."
Look, it's hard to stay trim in 0G, all right? There's no resistance.
Okay. Now this is going to be a relatively sort of like a deep scan. I'm going to go ahead and guess you want to do, yeah.
I'd like
So
to...
it's gonna. hey! Out of the gut! Out of the gut! So Phlox is essentially going to start the scan and probably pop it in his pocket, and it's going to be mapping this because there's a lot of data to go through here. And you'll be able to process it later at a time that is more convenient for you.
Auto's
Oh
gone.
God, I've killed Auto. He's gone. He's dead.
That's the Phlox going deep.
Yes, Ensign, it's all over me.
No, he's probably gone.
He likes hitting that sweet spot.
Something 0G spot? Yes, okay.
Okay. All right.
We're back.
We're back. We're in the mood. This is a very serious murder investigation.
Man has died, damn it. Oh no, wait, I'm not Bones anymore.
I'm doing a fucking Chippendales act while the doctor is scanning. Everyone's watching to see what you will do. Okay.
Is that the music they use? I have no idea. I'll
You
have to
liar.
just-
I can give you a
This is some sort of-
demonstration later. Don't worry.
Ensign
All
Swayze reporting for duty.
I've seen the Chippendales. I've been on with them. Oh, nice physique.
Oh, I believe it.
All right. So, large equipment consoles that have been bolted to the floor and heavy conduits running from floor to ceiling are still in place, but appear to be warped inward, not unlike the window. Leaning against one wall, at about a 20-degree angle from vertical, is a thick rectangular slab, about 3 by 4 meters and half a meter thick. It appears quite heavy, and it's the only loose item in the room that hasn't been pulled into the center. And it also looks to be of a slightly different material to pretty much everything else in the lab. The wreckage pile and one of the massive consoles are encrusted with brown and gold stains of dried blood. And Macklet sort of like leans in and goes, "We've removed whatever remains we could. It's going to take us a while to dig through that."
If I might ask, where have you removed the remains? Sorry, I'm like a dog after a bone with this one, but where have you removed the remains to? if at all,
As
we
far
might
as I know-
recover our colleagues' remains for their family, of course.
As far as I know, they are at the Afios Bureau of Investigation morgue. You'll have to go uptown for that one.
That's good information.
He's doing his best to get you out of his hair as quickly as possible, so he's being cooperative. And with that, he sort of like looks down and his pager is going off. And he says, this is someone you probably want to talk to. And he opens up the door, and a very young, amiable female grad student with large, striking eyes and sort of like very shiny dark fur is introduced. This is Menny Lenorn. She's our grad student here. She was working with Dr. Kortar and his assistant Imran.
Lenny Morn.
And she's Many Melorn.
Many Melorn.
MENI. Melorn. NELORN.
Okay.
Miss Plenty, it's nice to meet you.
Exactly. Many Malone. Corporate language.
Family name, no doubt.
Named after your father, perhaps. She's like, she's been through the ringer. She looks like she's been crying, and she looks like she doesn't really want to speak to you guys because she kind of wants to be at home, but she feels like because you are associates of Raquel, she owes this to you. And she sort of says, "Hi, I'm Manny. Like, if there's anything I can help with, And she keeps on looking over into that wreckage and looking away because she's.
My dear, it appears
shaken
you're
up by
quite
this.
distraught. Here, have an eel that'll comfort you down. They're wonderful for the emotional temperament.
Doctor, that's sexual harassment, and I don't have to take it.
No?
We need a
Okay,
science
fine, I'll keep it.
And that big slab.
Yeah, it was,
Sorry?
We need a science person to go and scan that big slab.
Okay, so one of you guys wants to surreptitiously like have a look around and take a little bit of snifter?
Yeah. Well, someone asks, what's the deal with that big slab?
Do you want to ask Maclet or do you want to ask Nilorn?
Nilon, I think.
Okay. Let's see. Okay. So Nilorn says, "Oh, that's a failed experiment of Dr. Jesen's. It's a bit embarrassing, really. She was in competition with Dr. Kortar for the grant for the research. He got it, and her old experiment is now cluttering up his lab, as he was very happy to remind her every time he saw her before his death. It's just sort of been moved off to the side to make room for the tourists. We haven't really got it. The doors aren't really designed for something of this size, you understand."
What was that experiment about?
I'm not quite sure of the specifics. I was assigned to Dr. Kortar's project, but from what I understand, it was something very involved about a gravity plating. I don't quite understand how she thought she was going to make it work. Poor Dr. Jesen, she's a bit beyond her years. I honestly think the university keeps her around just out of sympathy, really.
so she missed out on a grant to the inventor of the generator? Is that right?
Yeah, the tourists, yeah.
Okay.
That's Dr. Jesen, who you haven't met yet.
Thank you. Okay. Because he's dead, right?
Yeah, Kortar is dead. And Jesen is
Oh, she's the
probably
one
around.
who invented this lab.
Yeah, the slab, which is, as far as anyone is aware, is like it's a boondoggle. They threw a load of money at it and it didn't do anything, and no one's very happy with Jesen because of it. She's
Interesting.
not persona non grata, but she's not popular at the moment.
Did Dr. Jesen and Dr. Kortar have a cordial relationship?
What are you suggesting, Lieutenant?
I don't know if you'd
Sorry.
call
Who?
it cordial.
Lieutenant who?
Um,
I'm just a scientific observer.
Oh, yes, sorry.
I'm sorry.
Sorry. I just realized. I mean,
Could you repeat the question again? Sorry.
By the way, while we're carrying on, maybe it would be a good idea for the science officer to surreptitiously sneak over and examine the large rectangle.
That does sound logical.
Can I just establish that Reed's undercover name is Lou? Lou, and he is a tenant.
Lieutenant.
His
Yeah.
name is Lou Malnati. He's from Chicago, you know?
That's brilliant.
His father owns a deep dish pizza restaurant. What do you want?
Hey, I'm Lou.
Okay, so if you want to have a look at that plating in a bit more detail, so Maclet is probably going to try and stop you because there's still a good amount of police tape on the lab because they don't really want anyone poking in around there at the moment. So if you want to try and sneak in there, someone else is going to have to cause a bit more of a distraction that's a bit more effective than Travis's.
Not again.
I think Shran needs to be quite good at giving some diplomatic. Might suggest that Mr. Shran, could you provide a little bit of diplomatic aggravation here? Maybe antagonize him or sort of do something to sort of distract him that way.
What kind of research facility lets this kind of thing happen? What are your safety controls, man? What's going on here? I'll demand of the lead scientist that's leading us around.
Yeah.
Totally out of character, potentially.
Mackler is a little bit taken aback that you're reacting in quite this way, and he's like, "Sir, I understand that you might be grieving for your colleague, but this isn't our fault. This is God rest his soul, Dr. Coulthard.
Where's your
was messing.
calls? This kind of thing shouldn't have been allowed to happen, even if someone messed something up. This is just gross negligence of the highest order."
All right, so you two are going to get into a bit of an argument because Mackler is very intent on covering his ass here. So to Paul, I'm going to need you to give me a roll to sneak in. I'm going to say it's a decreased difficulty because Shran is doing a very good job of providing good distraction.
That ass, but I want to expose that ass right up.
Is that an Andorian expression?
Why not? Why not?
All right. Give me a security and control difficulty 2.
Right.
Oh no, for this.
Difficulty 2.
Yes.
What am I doing? I'm sneaking in?
Yeah, you're essentially sneaking in and trying your best not to disturb the scene and make it too obvious that someone's been poking around.
Past the
How do you
police
like
state.
that focus and composure?
And infiltration.
And infiltration. What does that do for
So
me?
yeah. So you're rolling with security, so that means if you roll a 1, a 2, or a 3, that counts as 2 successes.
Oh, so I don't get an extra die from that.
No. That you have to buy those with momentum or by paying the threat. Focus
I
is
kind of
essentially
feel like
making
I
you
should buy
succeed
momentum.
more.
Yeah.
I know we only have 2.
Yeah.
We only
No,
have 2.
that's
right?
fine. I'd say that makes
Okay.
sense. This seems quite key. So
3 is,
Yeah.
or 2 is a big number. Okay. Yikes! I only got 1.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and say that you are stopped before you can enter the lab by another member of security and says, sorry, ma'am, I understand that, the whole, but you can't go in there. The lead investigator on that case has been hounding us all day. And the last thing I want to do is get in trouble with her. And he sort of like leads you back into the room with everyone else.
That was a security guy that did that?
Yeah, essentially they have, because this is essentially government-funded
Okay.
research, they do have a small private security force to keep people from, especially corporate espionage, from happening.
I'm gonna try a little bluff here, and I'm gonna say, well, we have him. We have our lead security person right here, and I point at Reed. He's here. He can give us authorization. Kind of banking on the hope that they're just sort of grunts that would not know who that looks like, and I'm gonna kind of use Reed's security kind of persona to maybe bluff our way in.
He's got demeanor about him.
Yes.
That's it.
Okay, so what's your angle of attack here? Fake ID or bluffing?
Just bluff.
Fake scent.
Yeah.
Have him smell his butt so they know he's legit.
Perhaps I could stimulate your reciprocal gland, Mr. Reed. That might help
We
in
are
the
dealing with
circumstance.
dogs after all.
What's all this then? We've been sent down here from the Aphios Investigation Bureau. Uptown.
And this is an
To do some
uptown
scans
battle.
of this scene. Why are you interfering?
Show me your ID.
Oh.
That's right there.
Hand it over, buddy.
Should have gone with the scent thing.
Okay, how many people are in the room with us right now? Who is? We've got guy showing us around,
From my
assistant, and 2
understanding-
guards.
From my understanding of how you guys are moving around, Shran is with Mackler and Nalorn in the observation room, and you guys have gone around to try and get into the actual lab. And as far as I understand, that's Paul, Reed, and Phlox.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I'll just nerve pinch the security guy.
Yes, let me find my.
Why didn't I do
I
that?
have it. Yes.
Yeah, and
I
while
believe I
he's
left
doing
it in
that,
my
okay,
other
while he's
fur.
distracting, yeah, you can nerve pinch him. I can do like a little hypo spray full of something to knock the other one out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
One.
You guys are going about this very differently. I'm interested. I'm intrigued to see where this is going to go. Okay.
You always tend toward brute force. You should anticipate that.
That's true. Actually, you're not wrong. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and say that because you're catching him off guard, you're going to get like a decent damage multiplier on this. What are the damage stats on that nerve pinch of yours? Let's see.
One little con badge.
It's on the yeah, because that gives you like
Oh,
1
5
plus your
badges.
Five.
security. So okay, so if you want to attack,
Okay.
I will tell you straight out that this guy has 8 stress, and you have 5d6, so you'll have to take him down in one shot if you don't want to him to raise the alarm.
So this is combat. This is not just me sneaking around behind his back and doing. Because it's just one guy.
It is just one guy.
Oh, it's just one.
And as
Well,
and
I
as far
think
as I'm
there's-
aware, they don't have a.
the nerve pinch is like designated as a type of weapon for the game.
Oh,
One
bummer.
of your attacks. So
In which case, shall I just go for the hypo spray? While
Yes.
Flox is... While Reed's distracting.
Yes.
You know what? No, I'll say that you can go for the nerve pinch, because it's a sneak attack, and that if you manage to succeed at this check, then you'll do it.
And
I
it's
feel like
not.
that's fair. Then you'll enter combat.
Hang on.
What about Flux's idea?
I have an ability when Flox attempts a task to learn about an unfamiliar culture or to act in an appropriate manner when interacting with members of such a culture, he reduces the difficulty by 1. I am interacting with an unfamiliar culture.
I don't think hypoing them counts as learning about their
Yeah,
culture.
I'm kind of wondering, like, unless you want to pretend you're giving him a vaccination or something, I don't think that's going to fly.
Oh, I do believe you're looking a little pale there. Perhaps you've got some Lemodium
Eel?
flu. Eel? Yes. Swallow it.
All right,
Okay.
so if you want to go
Okay.
for the Vulcan nerve pinch,
Yes, do
I'm
that.
going to go ahead and say that it will be. I believe that they actually have a stat for this. I think it's science plus insight.
All right. That's not bad. 13.
And I'm going to say it's a difficulty 3 because this guy's hackles are up and he's worried.
What do we have?
He's
One
like-
momentum left.
Yeah.
Go
All
for
right. Darn it. Maybe I'll save my nerve pinch move for another time. Okay. The Makla guy had a pager on him. Does the security guy have a pager?
Yes.
Can we spoof a page to get him out of the room?
Okay. Yeah, you know what? I'll allow that. Who would like to try and spoof that? Because that's
Lieutenant
an
Reed.
engineering role. Okay.
Sure, certainly. Can I use the ship as to assist me? Yeah.
No.
Oh.
I can't surreptitiously
How about
call
the
up to the ship
Volkswagen?
and have them send a. Like if I happen to like flip my communicator open.
And what would you like the ship to do exactly? I'm not. Well, you want the ship to page him?
Yes.
Lay down suppressive
Sato.
fire.
Sato,
Okay.
Need to
Okay.
find- a carrier frequency of a pager
1.21 gigawatts, please.
down here.
Okay.
And send a message.
That's going to be an engineering plus daring difficulty 2.
Seems fair.
And for the record, Hoshi is very, very annoyed you broke her out of her Klingon language retention, but she'll live for the purposes of the mission.
I'm sorry. Which stats again did you say?
Engineering plus daring.
Engineering plus daring.
We do have a momentum left if you want it.
Sure. I'll spend it.
Excellent.
And you know what? I'll allow your focus and espionage to apply as well.
Yeah,
so if
okay,
you
yeah,
manage
yeah.
to get a 1, 2, or a 3, then that'll apply.
All right, excellent. Here we go.
Look.
Tally ho.
Oh,
This is
3
fun.
successes.
Ooh.
3.
5,
Nice.
5
okay.
6, and a 4.
Was that difficulty 3 or was it?
Well done.
Difficulty 3, yeah. Difficulty 2, actually, so you get a point of
nice.
momentum back.
Nice.
Yes.
Okay. So just
I think
as
if
he's
you
about to-
check your pager, you'll see that we have full authorization to be here.
These are not the Vulcans you're looking for. All right, so he looked a little bit confused at you, and then his pager will start going off, and he's like looking at you like. But then he sort of like reads the message, and he runs off the other direction because apparently he's been told that some kids are graffitiing on the back wall. So it's the best host you could come up
Good
with.
job, Ensign Mabel.
Dylan.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
so you
gotta be
guys-
the black guy doing the graffiti. I see what you're saying. I'm standing right next to you in the room, man. Come on.
Okay, so Paul, you want to do a quick scan of that plating, yeah?
Yes, finally.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and say, because you're under duress, this is like a really quick thing you're going to have to do. And because of the limited nature of 22nd century scanners, this is going to be a science plus reason difficulty 3.
Ouch.
Just going to throw that
Okay.
technological bias out on you. It's like, GM's going to limit you by the technology of your time.
They do actually tell you to do that at the beginning of this adventure
okay.
if you're adapting it for
Interesting.
Enterprise.
Well, I
They make
definitely
it harder
have
if
to...
you're playing Enterprise.
Can anybody help me with this?
So who's with you? You've got Reed and you've got Flock. Is Flock with you?
Yeah, I'm here. What was the
Flock's not
skills?
allowed to assist. Science plus reason.
And I'm going to buy a die also.
14. Okay, yeah, I can do that.
Okay. Here goes.
Ooh, 13.
3.
Pass. I got one as well, so that's 4.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, 1 point of momentum to you.
Nice.
Thank you, Doctor.
So
Most
you do a
welcome.
quick scan over of the plating as quickly as possible you can, and you find out this plating is very scientifically interesting because it's viable. That's not the same as working, but Jessen was onto something here. It's possible that she was missing some essential breakthrough, maybe funding, maybe Immaculate ran out of patience for her, but this plating is not a million years away from the kind of stuff you have on the NX-01. But there are no indications that it's been active, as far as you can tell. You would probably need a deeper scan for that, because like you are doing this under duress in quick time, because Shran is turning a little bit red in the face, which is odd for him, because he's been distracting Maclet and the lawn for about 5-10 minutes now by screaming and shouting.
I'm running out of made-up clauses or sub-clauses to the security and confidentiality agreement that I'm swearing is actually what they ought to be adhering to, and I'm presuming they just go, what?
Yeah, no, you're just obfuscation, so they have no idea what the hell you're talking about, and it's working.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
that's essentially
Out of them, make them slip up in their speech by asking them pointed questions about what they did just prior to it.
You can absolutely do that. I will need specific questions. Sky, you had something to say?
Oh, well, he can ask his questions first. I just wanted to know if there's anything we can tell about why the plating is there particularly.
As far as you can tell, they're telling the truth about it being like awkward to get into, because you can literally see the size of the plating and then the size of the door they've got in here. It will not fit through that door, so they would probably have to either take off the observation lab window and somehow feed it through that, or something. It's an awkward thing that was built inside this lab and not designed to be taken out.
Cool.
As I don't have any particular kind of guesses in mind about what may or may not have happened, it's really hard. I'm just wanting to get them someone trusted enough to say something that's revealing in some way. Like saying there's not a fail-safe button or a fail-safe protocol or a fail-safe computer program that slams it down if the energy doesn't if the energy doesn't match the accepted parameters or something like that. I can't think of anything.
Okay, yeah. So, as you're talking about the failsafe, Nanorn pipes up, and she looks like kind of a combination of offended and also distraught because she feels like this may be in some way her fault. And as you're talking about the failsafe, she points to the console, to the same spot that. So from the footage that Reed and T'Pol managed to put together, the scrubbing through, what they were reaching for was the failsafe. And then Lorne sort of points to that and says, "Look, that was the failsafe. That was what we planned to stop this. But the telemetry shows that it failed to activate. It's a physical switch triggered by high gravity, and the only way to prevent it would have been to block it. But no one did that because no one else was in the room. No one who was in that room would have killed themselves." And she's getting a little bit flustered. She's like, in her mind, this is only an accident, and there's no other way that this could have gone down. No one had the means to do this on purpose and survive.
So how exactly is this failsafe triggered? Because it may not have been beyond the capabilities of someone not native to the planet.
And okay, so do you want to ask her that question?
Well, I wouldn't add the part at the end that gives us away as not being from their planet, but just how does the failsafe work? Can it be triggered remotely in any way?
Yeah.
She shakes her head. It can only be triggered by high gravity readings. So it detects a high enough gravity field to do damage, and it instantly shuts off. It's meant to automatically pick it up. So perhaps it's some kind of technological malfunction, but I don't know. The only way to prevent it, other than that, would have been to block it directly, as in someone had to be in the room. But like I said, no one would have done that. They would have died, and that's no longer just.
Can we run a diagnostic on the failsafe's sensor to see if it correctly detects changes in gravity? Sorry, I'm getting a little sciencey for a meathead.
No, that's a good question to ask. You'll have to get to T'Pol and Phlox to check that because they are still inside the lab.
You need to phrase it in the terms of like when I was a boomer.
That was going to be as a boomer.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to have to say that if you want T'Pol and Phlox to get an opportunity to check that failsafe sensor, Shran is going to have to roll to keep on going because he's been going for a while now without rolling, and I need him to roll some dice.
Okay, without rolling, I'll just keep on going.
Wait, should we, Spock, you want to do good cop, bad cop? Should I come in and try to put him at ease before you blast him again?
You could do try to calm me down, and I could try and distract them at the same time as building up. So
It's not worth it, Shran. He's not worth it.
to get to the bottom of this, don't you intervene? I'm interrogating these people.
All right, so if you want to keep on distracting them and give that open, you're going to need me to roll me a command plus presence, difficulty 3.
Oh.
Because Makla is starting to run out of patience for you. He's starting to suspect that maybe you're full of bluster. So you have to give him something to convince him.
I'm a bit full of bluster. I've got 13 in that. That's not too good.
Buy the dice.
3.
Yeah, buy the dice, I'd say.
You have to.
Is Mayweather assisting?
Yeah, I think I can assist.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll allow that. Yeah.
Okay, so that's buy the thing. You got 4 dice there. We can make it back.
I'm back from graffitiing the walls outside.
Would my focus in interrogation help?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh.
What does that do?
Oh, so that makes so you're rolling for what is it I said? I said command plus presence. If you roll a 1, 2, 3, or a 4, you get 2 successes.
Oh,
Because
okay.
it's your the focuses are tied to disciplines, so if it's within the range of your disciplines.
I remember now. Yeah, so we're buying 1 with 1 momentum. So roll 3 dice and you're assisting.
Yeah.
I'll allow that. Yeah, if you guys are okay with spending that momentum,
Yeah.
go for it.
And take it with you.
Right, okay. Remember, this isn't Spock rolling a science one anymore.
Overpowered computers.
Oh. 2 successes and a critical, a really good one, as in like less than my
crit, yeah.
command. Fuck off you.
So
Yeah.
that's 4
4
from you.
successes.
Yeah.
Great.
And I
Travis?
succeeded.
Oh, it's 5.
Okay.
Sweet.
2 points of momentum back to you guys. Well done.
Yes. Back him up.
Profit.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and say that Strand basically is now screaming in Mac's face.
We're doing the best buddy cop routine you've ever seen.
Yeah, and Travis is sort of like tugging at his arm, like, come on, man. It's like, and the lawn looks like she's about to cry, the poor thing.
But Strand's like, yes! I will find out the root cause, and we will discover the meaning of our compatriot's death.
You're barking mad at this point. Don't me.
I'm not even let
So-
the golden bird bastards or something like that and slip out by accident, even though I am one right now.
So, if Flox and Paul want to investigate that failsafe sensor, this will be a science plus. What would be an appropriate roll for this? Science plus control difficulty 2.
Okay, I've got 12.
I'm
in
gonna
that.
invoke my focus in sensors.
Yeah, you lead.
Absolutely.
By a die.
Yes, by a dice. That's me dropping my dice, not rolling my dice. I have it here still.
It's just science and control, right?
Okay.
Science and control.
Science
Yes.
control. Okay. I assume I'm assisting. Ooh, 19.
You are indeed.
Good job because I got 19, so I'm good for nothing.
I got a 7 and 2 20s.
Oh. It's been a pleasure
Okay.
meeting you, Paul. Inexplicably, we're dead.
Okay.
Jack Fritz machine again.
We've all been
No, you
crushed.
know what? I have the exact idea of what's going to happen now.
Oh, great.
Great.
So,
Be prepared.
Stars is touching himself, thinking about how he gets to.
okay. So, you hear the door to the lab open behind you. And there's a sort of amused but threatening voice that says, I already had a look, you know. There's no need to double check my work. And there is an imposing Kalmuri female with bronze skin and golden fur, dressed in a multi-pocketed vest and a trench coat that looks well-traveled. 2 Kalmuri police officers enter the room behind her, and another 2 enter the observation room with Travis and Shran. So, would you like to explain yourselves?
Is that the doctor who did the plating?
Nope. This is someone else entirely.
And who are you?
She flips open an actual ID. Inspector Dory Lennox, I believe you guys aren't meant to be in here. Or, you know, maybe I missed my mark as chief investigator for the EFIOS Bureau of Investigation, but, you know, whatever I know.
I beg to differ,
We-
my dear investigator. I believe when our colleague's life is at stake, I want to determine how he died. I have every right to be here as much as you do. And this is Flox's angry kind of, very kind of stubborn kind of.
Puff yourself up.
Yeah, because it's defensive. I'm not on the defensive, on the offensive. And Flox kind of like the fact that this man died without any analysis of how he died is lackluster.
No faith in police, huh?
As far as your medical technician concerned, none.
See, I find that interesting because, well, you'll have to pardon me, Doctor, but I've been doing a little bit of digging around into the credentials of yourself and your esteemed colleagues, Raquel and Tezen, I believe their names were. Your unfortunate colleague who died here. I just was doing some background checks in Pytulus, and no such individuals have ever worked for their university. Now, forgive me for supposing, but if I were to check your ID and your friend's ID and your other friend and those 2 over there, and she points at Travis and Shran, would I get the same result?
I need a commander.
Throw the smoke bomb quickly.
Look, we all want to get to the bottom of what happened here. We share a common goal. Why don't we pool our considerable resources and help each other in this investigation?
And she looks very sort of interested that you jumped to that very quickly. She says, you know what? I don't hate that idea, but I think maybe best done away from people like that. And Maclet is now staring in at you guys like, what the fuck are you doing? So I think perhaps you guys might want to come with me to ABI headquarters so that we can have a private conversation about this.
What about the coffee shop we passed on the way in?
Nice try, but no.
I don't even drink coffee.
Only tea.
Iced tea, please. Mint.
Does anyone want to try and resist this, or are we content to see where this goes?
I think we're kind of due for a read alert, aren't we?
Yes.
Hold on, dude.
Blow up a detective, no problem.
Do we have any pockets, or did he hide that in his fur?
You have pockets. You have
Okay.
jackets and stuff. that you can put down.
I brushed him myself.
Okay, so the way
Replace
it's
the
gonna work.
replace the verb assisting with grooming each other. If we're going to be like tonally correct in all of this.
Oh no.
Hey, you brought it up, dude.
Okay. All right. So Lanix is going to lead you guys back outside, and she's pulled up in a sort of like a police jeep, and she's going to indicate half of you are going to go in the car with her, and one of her officers is going to drive your guys' car and follow to headquarters, just in case you decide to be skittish.
The bumperless shaggin' wagon, is that what we're driving?
Shaggin' wagon. In fact, you know what? I'm going to say that she walks out and she sees that, and she's like, parking.
Maybe we'll take my vehicle.
I could write a ticket for that, you know.
It was like that when we got it.
You guys need to shop at better secondhand car retailers. Really. All right. So now we're going to move on to the third scene and the final one of this act. So, in a very stark and grungy interview room, well used at ABI headquarters, which is a very old building in the southern quarter of the city, has a very chaotic interior layout as if it were converted to some other function. Inspector Lanix is going to lay it out for you guys very matter-of-factly, and you're all sort of sat around the table. And she's sort of like circling you guys and smoking a cigarette. So her first thought was that you guys were industrial or military spies for some rival country. But then, she says, spies would be a lot more competent at creating cover identities. They would have bothered to create actual records for you back at the university. And they probably show a bit better knowledge of the country that you claim to come from. For example, you aren't reacting to this cigarette, which smells foul to me. And she stubs it out.
She's tricking us with a stinky cigarette?
Well, it doesn't stink to you, but it stinks to her.
That's not
didn't
even
want to be rude.
50 of the worst thing I've smelled in my life.
I imagine as a boomer, you've smelled quite a lot of things.
Boomer?
Don't Vulcans have a really intense
That's true,
sense of smell?
yes.
Oh no, it's because we shared the nasal numbing agent in scene 1.
Ah.
Yeah.
I knew that.
And what's more, yeah, she slides a medical report onto the table. This will be of interest to you, Flox. Which indicates that the DNA of Kortar and Imarin, so that's the assistant, was identifiable in the remains, but the third set of DNA traces, Raquel's, show odd attributes, to say the least. The lab boys were very interested in that. They thought that looked a bit weird.
I look over the reports and sort of, my best bluff is I see nothing odd here.
Again, I continue to doubt your scientific credentials, Doctor.
Dare you?
Um,
I've studied very hard on Lower Denobulum, which is, on the other side of the continent, far away from here. You wouldn't know, it's a small place. Tiny
West
college.
of Denobula.
Yes.
west of West, I understand. Then she picks up a report that she's got, and she says, I'm curious, if I turned out your pockets right now, would I find a small metal oblong about this size, maybe the size of like a cigarette case, with some really sophisticated circuitry, some kind of transponder circuit, maybe an element that's not on our periodic table?
Madam, if you turn out my pockets, you'll find nothing but eels.
I believe you. I believe you when you say that. Yeah. Now, I put all this together, and I can think of a few different explanations for different parts of it. But there's one that fits all of this, and I think you're going to like this, because it involves your friend Raquel and all of you being from outer space. Want to work with me here? We're going to workshop this?
And you are doubting my scientific credentials.
All right, fair enough, fair enough. I didn't expect you to give it up on the first try. So that's all you got for me? I say you guys are from outer space and you're just like nonplussed? Not a shout of indignation? No, nothing?
Well, we don't have Archer with us, so...
I think we need Strand to spin at the indignation. He's the king of that.
Mayweather could bust out laughing.
That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
Outrageous. We're starting to sound like Stewie now, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, you do.
Yes, I think it.
Brian!
Most outrageous thing I've ever heard.
And she's like, she sort of smiles and she lets you laugh. She says, so you won't object to a medical examination then?
And I
Just a
say,
different-
examine
This
this.
is outrageous. You have no evidence against us.
I have the fact that you were trying to sneak into a crime scene.
We were there on permission of the people.
We were on the
Yeah.
tour.
You
The
speak
people-
on Maclet.
Not Liz.
Matt-
and-
Mackler did not give you permission to do that
Anymore.
because I didn't give him permission to let anyone in there. So that's a load of garbage.
Well, we
He's-
thought we had permission. We didn't mean any ill intent. You have no basis to hold us. And by the way, did you kill R. Kelly because you thought he was a space alien?
She's just like, who am I meant to work with here?
We're done here. And I push away from the
Okay. And so she lets you stand up and she's like, so no interest in actually working together then?
If we can work together as equals and not people accusing one another of specious accusations.
It's not exactly a very equal partnership if we're neither of us are telling the truth now, are we?
You first. What do you know about the accident?
What I know is that this was not an accident. This doesn't look like an accident. None of the people that you spoke to in that university smell right. All of this, it doesn't work out for me. This is, no. I've been on this force for 15 years, and I can tell you for certain, there is a difference between, oh, I'm so sad, this is an industrial accident, and there's something else going on here. But the problem is, I can't work it out. This is a classic locked room mystery where everyone involved seems to have died, and I can't seem to work out who would have benefited. But I bet you all have some idea of what's happened. Something I don't know.
Okay. I'd like to try something here, and the Phlox is going to spin a yarn about Perhaps there are things that one cannot explain, but we are hoping to get to the heart of here. While we are not willing to compromise our identity for this, perhaps you could help us with our common cause and embrace the fact that you may never know why we are here. And I would like to use my determination for my value as you must learn to embrace new ideas. And with her to say that, okay, there is something unknown with us. It may be space aliens, it may be some sort of undercover operative, but the inference is that she must learn to accommodate the unknown in order to achieve her goal. So you must learn to embrace new ideas, that the fact that there may be things that she cannot anticipate, especially with us. But I've got a feeling that she kind of knows that we are on the same side, but she's trying to angle information.
She is a hard-boiled detective, and she wants to know the truth, and that involves knowing every little detail.
Yeah.
So she naturally wants to know everything, and you get this impression from the way that she's doggedly attacking everything you say. But if you want to do that, you can absolutely do that. I will make you roll for it.
Okay. That's fine, because I get a crit on it anyway, which means you're going to put it in, like, difficulty 4.
I am actually going to set a difficulty 4 because she is a hardhead. Like, her stats are for this.
Yeah.
What I'll say is we can put this under either... This will probably be science and reason. And I'll allow you to use your focus in psychology here.
Yeah, thank you. So, should I buy a dice for this? I've automatically got two successes.
We have
I've got
one
two-
momentum, right?
Yeah, and I've got 2 dice to roll.
Do it,
Yeah.
because we might get it back.
Okay. Right, so let's do that. Okay.
If you want, one of you can assist.
Yeah.
In fact, actually, let me check something. I'm curious.
Oh, shit. It wasn't me rolling.
In fact, you know what? If you want to make this a group effort and both try and chime in, I will allow that. But you have to pick who is going to roll and what they're going to roll and how they're going to attack it. So, Phlox is going to do his determination. That's 1 dice. And he gets his 2 as normal, so that's 3. So, 2 of you can help.
And what are the attribute discipline?
So, Phlox is going to attack with science and reason. But you guys can come at it from different angles depending on what you think might work. And if you can justify it to me. Not just your strongest roll, one that makes sense. Maybe Reed could appeal to her sense of we want to keep the public and in on the down low and stop a panic.
With any good investigation, you must focus on the... I've become very posh all of a sudden. With any good investigation, you must focus on the pertinent details. If you do not believe that we're suspects, you must exclude that from your consideration and focus on who, what, where, why, when of it all. I believe that you believe that we are not suspects. You must focus on the players at hand.
Okay. I'll allow that as an angle. So I'll say that you can roll... Let's go with command and insight on that. So you can contribute 1 dice on that. Who else wants to contribute? Okay, what would you like to roll with?
Daring and security. I'm going to pull her aside and say, you know what? You are right. We have means that are beyond your control. We have ways to detect things that you cannot, but you have the access that we don't. That's why we're a perfect match. And if she tries to dig deeper into the kind of assets that we have at our disposal, I'll use my focus in evasive actions to evade her questions. And since I'm taking a big risk as an ensign, saying, you know, you're right, we do possess certain... That's why I'm going with daring on this one.
Okay,
I might get
allow
busted
that.
back to the academy.
I like that.
I like
Right,
this. I like this.
roll.
Okay, so that's 3 dice for Dr. Phlox and 1 each for Reed and Mayweather. So give us your rolls, gentlemen. Difficulty 4.
May I ask, Would my talent of Dauntless apply here? Whenever Reed attempts a task to resist being intimidated or threatened, he may add a bonus d20 to his dice pool.
But can you do that as an assist?
I would
That's why
normally
I'm
allow
asking.
it, but it will exceed the number of dice you can roll
Yeah.
here. In fact, you know
Okay.
what? If you Idle, were you using a dice for? No, yeah. So one of you would have to drop out. So I'd say maybe not for this one.
Okay,
Wait,
that's all right.
Hold on. What's the
But
maximum
normally it would
number of
apply.
dice?
Yes,
5.
5.
Okay,
Which
so
we're rolling.
if each assist does 1, how many are you rolling?
So Phlox would have to roll 3 because he's rolling his 2 standard, and then he's using 1 dice slot for his determination roll.
No, but the
Okay, so
determination's
isn't
an
that 5?
automatic success.
Yes,
an
but it
automatic.
counts as a third dice.
Oh, okay.
So that's 5 though, right? 3 from
Yeah,
Flox,
so
1 from each.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2.
Oh, got
so
it.
you can't
If
add
he
a,
were to do
so
that.
Reed can't add a 6th dice to the pool. That'd be a bit broken.
But hang on, didn't I buy one with momentum as well?
Yeah, that's what you can take that away if you want. But
Okay,
like,
yeah.
2 is the standard, which you're rolling. You
Yeah.
have to roll that.
Right.
1 is field determination, and then 1 from shy, 1 from auto.
Or you
Okay.
can save your point of determination and.
Oh, but I spent
Yeah,
so long
no,
applying
no,
it.
Then go ahead.
Let's let this ride. Come on, let's see how we go.
Yeah.
Well, I got 2 successes, so that brings it up to 4/4. So
Okay, so now you're
I
rolling
failed.
from a half house money.
I also succeeded.
Excellent.
I did not. I got
okay,
an
so
ace.
we just get 1.
Okay, Lanix doesn't like you, Reed. That's fine. Add a point of momentum.
Yeah.
And she's thinking about it, and you can tell that this really rankles with her. Like, your idea of allowing things to be unknown does not sit well with her core philosophy as an investigator and as a Kalmuri. But she needs to know the answer to this question more. She's
What
way more interested in. Oh,
Did you happen to spin up a set of values for her? I'm just curious.
I think she does actually have values. Let me see. Yes. Solving the case is all I care about. I hate being lied to. People can generally handle whatever you throw at them. Okay. So, you guys have convinced her. She'll leave it alone. And she's going to give you the access that you require. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send something to. Does anyone remember who precisely did the scan for the wreckage?
That was to Paul.
Was that
wasn't
you,
it?
Flox?
I thought it
was
was.
it Flox or
Oh,
You mean the
Both
initial
of us?
scan or the one of the large bulkhead?
yeah, the overall scan.
Oh, flop.
oh, maybe it was me. I think you assisted, didn't you?
Check the
I
tape.
remember. Yeah. Does anybody in chat remember?
Rewind the movie.
Be kind, rewind.
I think it
In
was.
fact, you know what? I'll put it in the.
Okay.
I'll put it
It
in
was
the
either
show chat, and one of you
Alright.
guys can.
All right. I'll let
I'll put it in-
Topol do it because that makes more sense if it's a sciencey thing.
Cool. So yeah, you were essentially doing like a low-level scan all the time you were in that lab, just collecting up as much information as you possibly could, creating like a 3D model of the room and soaking up everything. And your scanner spits this bit of information out at you.
Oh. It's in shock, huh?
Is that going to be relayed to the audience? Or is
say-
that...
I'm hoping that Topol will
T'Pol?
read that when
Oh,
she's got
oh.
there. Yeah.
Thank you. The scan of the remains indicates that there is insufficient human biological material present to account for Dr. Lee's biomass. The Kalmuri did clear away most of the remains, but Lee's remains and Kortar's would have been impossible to separate, so there should be roughly equal proportions of both individuals' genetic material left behind. But the amount of Lee's DNA detected is very small compared to the other 2 victims. Not enough to prove that he died in there.
So missing still applies. Remember, our initial report was he was missing, but it was Dr.
Presumed dead.
Tagur.
That's what our stupid captain said, yeah.
Dr. Tagur, not Dr. Yeah, the Tagur said.
Tagur, missing was a nice way of saying there's not enough of him
Yeah.
to say he's dead.
I think
Yeah.
I think they're full of shit.
I think they are as well.
Yeah.
You think
They're
who's full of shit?
pulling.
To
They're
go.
pulling the old
Everyone
Kivas
in the-
Faggio,
yeah,
where you put the materials on the shuttlecraft, but he's not really there.
To go have a collection of interesting antiques.
A 1937 Roger Maris trading card, bubblegum.
Yes.
So
She just
you've
wants to
got-
sit there and observe him from a distance forever.
So, do you guys want to let Lanix in on that?
I think we owe her one for. She had us in interrogation and agreed to a plan that she didn't have to. I think we owe her a little bit of goodwill here.
I feel like Topolra probably would have, Vulcans are the ones that do the whole Prime Directive thing first, aren't they? So they would, it would be the humans versus sort of Phlox. I don't think Shrank is a fuck, but but it definitely kind of.
Yeah, I think
But then
T'Pol
the-
is torn here because it's logical to get her
Yeah.
help and to give her this information, but we also don't want to interfere. I'd be interested to hear what Shran has to say.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Thank you, Commander. Very helpful.
We just need to get to the bottom of this.
Yeah.
All you pink-skinned, whatever, 20 years trying to mess around with the ethics of it or whatever. We just need to get to the truth. Get to the truth.
Selfishly, as a player, I just want to give up the whole bring her in on it and do a mind meld.
Ooh.
Yeah, I was hoping at the end you would erase her memory with a mind meld.
Hey, that's a good idea.
Ouch.
Pull
Well,
the tube up, yeah.
just the short-term memory, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
Everything. The whole
sir.
lot. Right.
Did Topol do mind melds? I don't think she ever did she?
She only ever did like one.
She probably was too
Of
young
her
to have
consented anyway.
control
Yeah.
and precision to remove the parts of the memory that need removing.
If Surak Archer were here to direct her, maybe.
Ah, the true Vulcan. By the way, as a quick aside, Mr. GM, could you please note, spin up an epilogue scene where Archer chews out Mayweather for admitting that we're aliens sometime at the end of our session?
I will write that down
Because
immediately.
I wanna be there for that.
You got it. Travis, what the hell? I wouldn't ever have done that. 5 episodes later, Archer does the exact same thing.
Who thinks we should tell Lanix about the DNA?
Oh,
I am disposed to the
If
group,
we're taking
of
a vote.
course.
that
I'm not bothered.
that doesn't
Yeah,
violate the
direct.
Prime Directive. Not that we have a Prime Directive, but that doesn't
Well, hold on.
violate the.
Are we telling her that it's human genetic material, or are we just saying there's not enough material?
Yeah.
I think we're saying that the scan does not confirm that he actually died, and that's all we're saying.
There's only enough to prove that 2 bodies were there.
Okay. So you're going to pass that information on, and Lanix is going to very quickly glance up that scanner, and you can tell she really wants to just kind of grab it out of your hands and read it, because she's that kind of individual. But she catches herself, and she stops. And she says, so if he's not dead, that means he's alive. Or at the very least, his body is somewhere else.
In my
And
professional
that means
expertise,
problem
that is
for you,
generally what it
doesn't it?
means.
That's almost more of a problem for you guys, isn't it?
We don't have a problem.
Everything's fine here. How are you?
To be fair, we only had to come
Those
down here
blood
and
stains
confirm.
are meant to be there.
We only had to come down here and confirm that he wasn't dead. Job done. We can go. He's alive. It's fine.
She's teasing. She understands the gravity of the situation.
I would like to pose this question to my colleagues. Is there any chance? Hold on. Who's the human in question? Dr. Lee.
Dr. Lee.
Dr. Ricardo Lee.
Is there any chance that Dr. Bob Picardo is the perpetrator here, and that he thought he could sprinkle just enough of his own DNA that we would think that he's dead? I mean, we have to
Awesome.
consider every angle.
I
don't
was
have-
also wondering if we can determine how much of the DNA or biomass was present. Does it seem like it would have been planted either by R. Kelly or by the perpetrator? Or is it just the amount that would be... I
Sorry.
didn't come up with a name.
No.
There's a urological component to this. It must be R. Kelly.
Is it just the amount that would be in there? Like, he's in there anyway, we know that he was in there, some of his hair fell, the fur fell out on the ground.
Yeah, essentially, there is enough genetic material in the wreckage to determine that he was in the room at the time of the accident occurring, but oddly enough, there is not enough genetic material to confirm that he died there.
Okay, let's presume. So we have two options: either he's complicit in what happened, or he's not. If he's not, that means that he was there but escaped somehow during that. If that's the case, that means he's on the run. He's incommunicado. Why? Why would he do that? If he's innocent, wouldn't he look to return to the science station?
Especially because he would know, if he's leaving DNA behind on purpose, he would know that that's going to tip them off, that there's an alien presence or some weird... And if he's innocent, he wouldn't want them to know that.
Are the Calamuri's medical knowledge advanced enough to determine that this was a non-Calamuri in disguise?
Yes, that's the report that Lanix showed you that were like kind of that she was showing her hand that she understands that you are not of this planet.
Right.
The people in the medical department here are very confused about these lab results, but they are recognizably not Calamuri, and they understand that that's a problem. They're going to keep it hush hush because Lanix doesn't want to make this public right now, but this is a concern for them.
Right.
So if he
So the
were
thought with
innocent-
Dr. Lee is either he cannot respond or he will not respond are the two possibilities. Right. Are we suspecting Dr. Jezen? What is it? What is
Jezen. Jezen. Jezen, yes.
Jezen. Scott,
Yeah.
he's Jezen. He's not Jezen.
Yes.
He's going to have to turn his camera off again.
Why did you pick these
R.
names?
Kelly.
They're the ones that are in the pre-published material. I didn't change
R.
them.
Kelly and
There's
Jezen.
no way R. Kelly is in the public material.
Well, okay, who is R. Kelly in this instance?
Do we believe that R. Kelly can fly? Do we believe that R. Kelly can touch the sky?
I think about it every night and day.
Sorry, what is Bob
You're
Marley?
about IOA.
Alias. It's Rick Kelly, right?
No, it's
Yeah, Rikeli.
Okay, I wrote it down as R apostrophe Kelly.
Okay, right,
Kelly.
okay. That's oh no, it's searching for R. Kelly. There's a mysterious smell going
He's in
around.
the
It's odd.
closet.
Okay. I think we might have to stop here before we all start just like cracking up.
Yeah.
Now, what I will advise is that you keep all of your notes and your
Yeah.
your suspicions. I will do my best to write you up a recap next time because I feel like we don't want to leave too much of a gap between these. But we're going to leave you there with that little cliffhanger. Your murder is not quite a murder, and you've got to deal with all the implications of that.
it may still be a murder. We don't know yet.
Before we leave, can I get some of those funny cigarettes?
Yes, you can. She doesn't want them. She literally only grabbed them so she could
this-
like prove that you were bullshit.
Is this Topol's new addiction? Is this the addiction of season 5?
Or the backwards cap, just smoking cigarettes.
Yeah.
Like, fuck you, actually.
It's like
She's
season 3
secretly
it
a
was
Mocklin.
season 3 it was Trillium, season 4 it was Trip Tucker, season 5 is just cigarettes.
Also, I'd like to request a pronunciation guide for some of these names, or at least
Okay,
a
I can do that.
phonetic. Yeah.
I can do that.
So wait,
R. Kelly,
Rick Kelly-
Jizzin.
was Rick Kelly the inventor of the?
No. So here's the problem. You guys
Who's
skipped
Raquel?
over a lot of the background information because you immediately went for the sneaking around option. So you don't have a lot of background on who these people are.
Oh, we're supposed to talk to them?
Yeah.
I got the load. I didn't load the talking. It was just
You think so,
No, you
Douglas?
talked at them. You didn't really learn much from them.
Yeah. So the victim is Dr. Ricardo Lee, whose alias here is Raquel, not R. Kelly.
Oh,
R-I-K-E-L-I.
he's
The
Raquel.
inventor is Rax Cortar. His assistant is named Imarin. The creator of that non-functioning gravity plating is Jezen. That's Jezen. And the director who we're showing around is Khan Maklet.
Got it.
Maclet.
M-A-K-L-E-T.
Khan Matlet sounds like a fucking
Maklet.
1980s
Khan
sitcom
Batlet.
series.
Need more Matlock.
Yeah.
Kong? Like Donkey Kong?
Who's this person?
Khan.
A-R-N.
I said, God!
Word.
Yeah. What was that, Stocky?
Who's the person I was speaking to right now? The investigator. Is that Mac?
Dory Lanix. That's D-O-R-I
Dory.
space L-A-N-O-X.
I think Finding Dory and Annie Lennox. There you go.
Yeah, there you go. I worked.
Exactly.
Nora in an annex.
Dory Lanix. Inspector Dory Lanix. Like, pleased to meet you.
Okay. Thank you, Stars, for taking us through that.
You're welcome.
I'm really intrigued by this because this is kind of we've circumvented all your hard laid plans.
Can we present theories
Actually,
right
you're
now?
having this fun way of doing it.
He's got 12-page biographies for every character, and we're we're just standing there shouting at them.
you got
This
to
is
try
what
and shout
happens
him.
when you try and do a Agatha Christie murder mystery with a bunch of jarheads that should be in the Aliens franchise.
A little bit. That's
I like the transposition of you got Shran shouting at the guy, you've got Mayweather doing a striptease. You've got Reed trying to convince them all to Paul and Phlox are trying to sneak around behind him going, should you fig it? And I'm just like, I've got hypes ready. You're like, no, I should pinch him. I'm like, hypes now. Oh.
Eels.
Just like, eels, yeah, got this.
Yeah, we cut right to Vulcan Nerfage.
Yeah.
And you guys are so good to go to 4
Love this talking.
No, brilliant.
But that's the
should
end
we-
of Act 1, so...
What are people's theories? Or can we just discuss that now? Or
I don't know. I think it's. I
If you
think,
want
no,
to,
we,
go for it.
we can theorize. I'm going with
This is-
he's. What was the episode with Odo where he was framed for a murder, but it turned out the guy cloned himself? That was like a man
Oh, yeah.
alone.
Second episode of DS9.
Yeah, like
yeah.
a man alone, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think it's something like that. I think that's kind
Yeah.
of where we're going.
I kind of want to sit down and run through the whole logic tree. Like, if he's innocent, then why did he do this? If he's still alive, why would he do? And then try to like eliminate whatever is possible.
Well, now you have Lanix on your side, and she is more than happy to arrange all kinds of interviews and investigations now that you have her on your side.
I think somebody figured out he was a human, thought he was more valuable alive than dead, doctored the camera or something, got him out of there, experimenting on him.
What if Lanix is double bluffing us here? What if she knows and was behind it, yet is leading the investigation to try and cover the trail?
I don't know.
What if
Who
Lanix
wants the
is
other two
R.
dead,
Kelly
though?
in disguise?
Ooh.
It's Rick Kelly, not R. Kelly.
Oh, sorry.
Come on.
No, it's R. Kelly now.
Do we?
I think Dr. Jezen's gravity plating does work, and she used it to trigger the gravity switch in the gravity generation chamber, killing her competition.
Yes, because she was bitter about that grant.
That's true.
But somehow R. Kelly escaped, even though he should have been canceled many, many years ago. Like, I don't know why we keep giving R. Kelly chances over and over again.
He's very slippery.
But
Yeah, but that song's a banger. It's brilliant.
yeah, one song.
Only Space Jam's out now, isn't it? Anyway, Yes, if you want to continue more of this, please go and watch R. Kelly's In the Closet miniseries on YouTube, where we'll detail every single pub. No, thank you, Stars, for
Let's not
jamming
do
this.
that.
That's going to be in the YouTube suggested video.
Yeah, it is now, isn't it?
VOD.
God forbid the subtitles for this one. Oh, analytics gone mad. Thank you everyone for joining us here, and anyone watching on the VODs and in the podcast. This should be podcast soon. Stars, thank you for GMing. We will discuss when our next show is, and if you want to know when the next installment of this episode will be, and yes, Shai showing off his wonderful edition of Broken Bow. That looks pretty brand new. Look at
Yeah.
that.
It's pretty crisp. Spocky, you weren't here. Like, the antique store across the street from where I'm staying right now literally had a box of these outside, and this was sitting on top, like, right before I came in to record.
Did they also happen to have a
This-
pair of like 200-year-old glasses slightly broken?
Yes, exactly. But they did. Speaking of which, they did have the Wrath of Khan photo book
Wow.
that is just all like,
Oh, that's actually really cool.
Amazing. That's quite cool.
Nice.
yeah,
Very
yeah.
good.
Wow.
All in black and white. I don't know. I'd feel like a black and white rendition of The Wrath of Khan would be quite good. You know how they do some films like Mad Max was in black and white. Black and white Wrath of Khan would be quite cool.
Okay,
Really
it
cool.
would look very
I'd
good.
watch that.
I think
It's
that
a
would
very quizzical shot of Khan on the back cover for some reason.
That's the test. That's the tests me, isn't it? No, it's not.
Give me
It's
a
not test
beard, Joachim.
me. Yeah.
Oh no, that's the. I think it's just something random, like put on the deflector rail. That was really random.
Put on a
Thank
Space
you
Jam 2.
all. I appreciate you all.
Thank you, Stars.
No, thank you, Stars, and thank you
Really
everyone for
nice.
watching. We will see you next time. We'll be back for a show on Wednesday, and we'll keep an eye on the Discord for when the next Star Trek Adventure session is. But for now, bye bye.